Thank you for being here. I would like to call this March 10th business meeting to order. As you can tell, I'm not Elizabeth tonight, and sorry you all get stuck with me, and I'm feeling really excited. So who knows how this is gonna go. So, first of all, can I get some of you to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? You bet. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Are there any revisions to the agenda? No. Before we go any further, Jerry, could you remind us of our goals? Yes.
Yes. At Whitefish School District, the trustees for the district have 4 goals. Each student will improve academically each year. Our schools will be safe, inclusive, and welcoming. And we will strengthen the family and community engagement and support partnerships for student learning. And we will maintain and improve our facilities to meet the current and future needs of our students, staff, and community.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Public comment. This item is the appropriate place to make comments on an item not on the agenda, but within the board's jurisdiction. Each action item on the agenda has its own public comment period. In order to protect individual rights of privacy, avoid comments that identify students or staff members. Additionally, public comment cannot be used to make comments regarding contested cases, grievances, or legal proceedings. Individuals with those sorts of complaints should follow Uniform Complaint Protocol Policy 1700. Due to open meeting laws, the board cannot respond in any way to comments made during the public comment period. The opportunity for public comment is only in person. Is there any public comment tonight?
I have some public comment to make. Just a recognition and thank you to the board for taking the time and effort to put in for the new superintendent search that just took place last week. Just want to let you know that we realize that there's a lot of time and effort put into this search and these kinds of decisions, and it's not easy to make those decisions. As Kerry stated in his comment that he made, that this is the only place, literally the only building I've ever known in my educational career. And so these kind of decisions mean a lot to us, and we're passionate about the great work that we do with the Whitefish School District. Also, I want to thank Dave. Doesn't seem adequate enough to use the word thank you for everything that he's done, but I want to thank Dave for everything that he's done for the Whitefish School District. So in summary, for everyone up front here, thank you.
Any other public comment? Moving on, public correspondence. We do actually have quite a few links. If you're online, you can read the public comments we received this last month. So feel free to give those a look if you want to. All right, moving on to the approval of minutes.
I move we approve minutes as presented.
Moved by Quincy, seconded by Katie, all in favor? Perfect, that's the first one, and then we have the special meeting of the board on February 12th.
We approve the special meeting minutes as presented.
Second. Moved by Quincy, seconded by Katie, all in favor? Thank you so much, Lucy. Thanks, Quincy. Looks like we're missing our student trustee tonight. Maybe she'll make an appearance a little bit later in when we can. So I know they're super busy. WEA or WCEA update? Yeah, we're just see, I told you I still I don't know, guys. Okay, superintendent search or update. I'm just going to give a quick little update on that. But before I do, I guess kind of following in Josh's leadership, I wanted to also send some thanks out, especially to the district office staff and everybody who helps organize and plan. It's a big lift to organize all of that and help us as the board make sure this all flows smoothly and gets candidates to all the different schools and taking care of them. So to everybody in the district office who helped with that, thank you very much. Also, again, want to send a shout out to the community who came and participated, whether it was through surveys or meet and greets or sitting in on the interviews. And of course, that also includes all of our staff members who spent lots of hours sitting in chairs and gathering information and listening to feedback as well. So update, as everyone should know, we did offer the job to Jennifer Fee out of Michigan. We are in contract negotiations. She had not seen our contract at all. So it's a fair ask to say, can I look at a contract before I take a job and sign it? So we got that updated with our attorney and it was sent to Jenny late this afternoon. Keep in mind, she's on the Eastern time zone, so you know, our 3 o'clock is already her 5 o'clock. So I don't know if she has received it and looked at it yet or not, but that's where that is sitting, because I know we're all anxious to hear back from her, so. Any questions on that from the board, because it's just a discussion? No? Awesome. All right, moving right along. Whitefish High School expansion report with.
All right, hello, everybody.
Oh, no.
This is the March update to the expansion projects at the high school. There's been a lot of exciting things happening with the team and the work out there over the past month, so this will be a fun update to walk through some of those key components this month. But starting off as we always do with the budget, nothing has really changed here. The key notes that we typically go over are the total spent to date, which is 2,415,358 and change, which is right on track with what we would expect at this point. Over the next week to month, we'll be filling out some of this GC information as bids were due last week, so we'll go over that in a minute. But this is still consistent right now with what we've looked at previously. But it'll get more exciting here in the next month or two. Jumping down to the milestones, everything is on track. I think we mentioned last time that bids were over the past month has been the bidding process. They were due last Thursday from subcontractors, and that was they were received Thursday, and we reviewed them as a team on Friday. Martel was going through all those as they were receiving them, and overall, things came in really positively. We've got obviously the two phases, the academic side and the athletic side. We're still vetting a lot of those bids, but we were pleasantly surprised with the academic side. It was a little bit better than what we expected, which is just kind of a kudos to the whole team, Martel and A&E and everyone, you know, coming to this point to estimate what to expect. It was kind of as anticipated, if not a little bit better on that side. So that was a really positive result. The athletic side, things were a little bit tighter. We knew that going into it. There's just a lot of work over there. And so it was basically on par with what we expected. There's still a little bit of work to do to finalize that side, but we feel like both are in a really good place, and we're working through all of that still. So things are going really well in that perspective. The first item here is kind of in that regard. We're planning to have an additional amendment to Martel's contract finalized by Thursday of this week for a special board meeting next week to go over that and review and get approved. The amendment number 3, we're calling it, to loop in those next components of Martel's contract to get things started on site. And so we'll talk more about that at the next week's special board meeting on the 17th. We went over this last time, but item number 2, we're on track to start construction on site over spring break. So that's really exciting. We've all been highly anticipating that start out there. And that will include Martel mobilizing, getting fencing up. Some of the first activities on site will be starting demolition of that gym foyer. Shortly thereafter, we'll start the athletic side, getting fencing out there right after the last home track meet that's out there on site. So that'll be early April timeframe for the athletic side. But things are still on track there, and it's quite exciting for the whole team to get that going out there. I think we mentioned this last time as well. We're planning a community update meeting for tomorrow at the high school at 5:30. So I encourage everybody to come out there to get kind of an overall project update, look at the final design, and go over some of the key logistical components for the project. In that same vein, the visual this month, I know I keep saying that I'm looking forward to construction starting so we can have some exciting progress photos, but this one is a newly freshly updated what we're calling site access and parking plan that we'll go over at the community update a little bit more in depth tomorrow. But this just kind of gives an overall picture of what to expect with the early phases of construction with impacts to parking along Pine, where the construction fencing is going to be on the academic side, and some of the pedestrian routing for students and teachers, and access points, some things that will be changing on site just due to the disruption of construction. So that's just a good high level picture of the early impacts. This will be continually evolving over the course of the construction project. So we'll update this as needed, but this is the early rendition. This is also going out to adjacent community neighbors. I think that was a question last board meeting. I think Carrie and the National Honor Society is heading up that process of getting this out to property owners that are in the adjacent vicinity. Just to give them an idea, as well as an opportunity to sign up for updates that'll be ongoing through the course of the project. I think that's everything. Sorry, that was a lot. I was trying to keep it flowing kind of fast there. Do you guys have any questions this time?
Excuse me, on those bid packages that we received, it was just for obviously subcut. Did we receive multiple bids for each item, or was it any particular item where we only received one bid and we're kind of stuck with a number?
I think we got multiple bids on all of them. Generally, it was a really good bid response. I think we got a total of 150 across the entire, both projects, which was a good response. Martell was really happy with the responses that we got. And like I said, they're still going through a lot of them and vetting them to make sure that we have scopes covered and pricing and qualifications are all, with the selections that will be made. But overall, good responses, good coverage for all the scopes. Yep.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
a good sign of, that we were.
It was good. Yeah, we generally felt that there was a lot of competition, which was good for the project, and good responses as a whole. Yep. Yep.
Carrie, I know this is, you taught, it looks like you had a student meeting maybe today in base camp with the kids about the new plan. I'm wondering, I'm wondering what kind of feedback you got on how far they're gonna have to walk now to get to school. I mean, it's like, they might as well just park in the moon and have to walk. I know that annex is already far. They're gonna have a really hard time with this.
There were some recommendations from them. Eliminating bells and those silly kind of things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But we are gonna watch it because we're not really sure how long it will truly take to get like from the CSE to, wrap around.
Yeah.
And we will adapt. I mean, we had to make a special bell schedule for the annex, and if we need to do that with the CSE to ensure that everybody has the appropriate amount of time they need, we'll do it.
Yeah.
And I said, adaptability and flexibility, and keep in mind opportunity. All of those things, we're all gonna have to be adaptable.
Right, and it'll be fun. I actually really think it'll be interesting as it moves around to have, when you talk about adaptability, like now the door entrance is over here, and so it's awesome. I was just looking at that thinking, ooh, I can see a lot of cranky kids in the morning.
Yeah, it'll be a change for a lot of the community, like teachers as well. Student drop off, pickup, a lot of change out there. So the first few weeks will be a huge effort to a lot of signage, a lot of notification, and just learning curve for the changes. There will be a full team effort, and yes, it will continue to evolve over the course of it. So
It's great. I think it's great. I just was, knowing how much they complained about walking to the annex, I thought that would just add to their plight. So.
I wanted to say thank you for moving that community update. I think sorry.
no problem at all. The team is completely flexible.
So thank you for being flexible.
No
I'm sorry that you have a like a busy schedule as well, so.
It was no problem. The whole team is on board. Martell, Annie, myself will all be there tomorrow, so no problem at all.
Understanding. And also, maybe this is more of a Carrie thing, because I did get on there, the email about opting in for updates. And so, just to clarify for the community, so you just say opt in on that, and it sends an email to someplace. Do you know if that? Do you know anything about this then? Because this is how you're supposed to get updates, or did Dave know? I'm sorry, I don't know who to ask, sorry,
That's okay.
because it's off the high school website page, so I didn't know.
Well, it's on the district
It's
webpage
on
too.
both,
It's on
okay.
every.
Okay,
So as you click on that expansion tab,
yes,
go in there and you opt in, but this is the first section says opt in, you email, that email goes to a specific email address, it will be
Okay.
weekly.
got it,
And that, then we will add those to our list. And when we send out messages through the campus, you notify it will be updates.
got it,
But it's construction specific updates only, right? So
Only
like,
related to
Yeah,
the
okay.
updates.
yeah, it's pretty clear that it's for the.
yes, I do know about that. That's really cool.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you for explaining how it was gonna work, sure, it's like, I don't know where this is going either, but here it goes, so, okay. Great, thank you.
Update. Oh, that's awesome.
And thank you for whoever's organizing all that, I do think that will be helpful, and then, like you said, people who don't know, what is this thing, I can just say, oh, you can go to any of the websites and. you can
Yep,
opt
yep.
in for- okay.
That
Great.
yellow banner, it's on every website. You just
Okay.
click on.
Thank you.
Anything else for Link or construction related?
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Amy.
of course. Thank you guys.
All right, we started easy. Now we're getting in there.
wasn't easy.
Exciting.
It's
There's a lot going.
He does have a lot going on. He
A lot
just,
of fun stuff.
He's so great, it just makes it look really easy. Okay, preliminary budget, for 26-27.
Can you believe it? Thank you.
No,
Can
that's
you
great.
believe it? It's time to talk preliminary numbers already. Yes.
Seems like every year.
I know. Right. And every year it comes early.
Yeah.
Well, but thank you for being here. I promise to make it exciting and not too. I always do. So, I would like to present, the preliminary budget for the 26-27 school year. While we have traditionally reviewed only the general fund during the March meeting, I believe we should expand the scope to include all tax levy funds at this stage. Okay. Because then come July, we suddenly have an 80-page document and it's just overwhelmed. So let's set the stage now by going a little bit more in depth. So we have a good summary to go off by. So we only have 3 pages. Page 1 is a summary of all tax levy funds, of which the general fund is the most important and has the most money. Okay. So if we look at that, first page, I presented the current year budget numbers compared to what I propose it to be next year. And you can see the differences both in dollar amounts and percentages for both the elementary, the high school, and the district combined. The grand total combined, the budget is expected to go up by approximately 3.4%. Again, a reminder, a disclaimer, this is a preliminary budget. So these numbers may change slightly. However, the general fund numbers, I don't expect that to change. I think those are good to go. The largest increase, if we were to pick one single fund, you can see what is the largest one?
Technology.
Technology in percentages, yes, 12.5%. The reason for that increase is the constantly increasing cost of handheld devices such as Chromebooks and iPads. I spoke to Jacob, he told me it's up by 25% at least, if not more. Okay, so just to be on the safe side, I increased the budget by 12.5%. We'll see where we stand in July and August, but I think that's a good number, and we need to plan for those increased costs. In as far as dollars go, it's the high school general, fund, specifically in the high school, that will see the largest increase. Is it a surprise? Not really. The enrollment has been increasing, it's very robust. Okay, so we can expect over $400,000 more in entitlement money from the state. And we will dive into the general fund a little bit more on page 2. I'm just highlighting those main points here on the first page. Does anybody have a question about the first page?
I just have a question, just to clarify. Yes, it's every year. So sorry. The transportation, because I know we have a contract with Rocky Mountain. That amount that we pay for that contract, that is included in our transportation budget or not? This is just gas and stuff, like what is?
Okay, good point. Okay, you're right. Okay, on most points.
Okay.
So we have 2 contracts with Rocky Mountain Transportation, yellow buses and activity buses. Yellow buses is what's being paid out of the transportation fund.
Okay.
Activity buses are paid out of the general fund. So the transportation fund that's a different levy at the county level. Okay. And we will actually talk about the transportation fund a little bit more during our next agenda item, which is permissive levies.
Okay.
So remember that. This fund is permissively levied. For the yellow busing, we expect the increase in cost to be 8% based on our preliminary discussions with the contract. Just for the yellow buses.
Just for yellow buses.
The activity busing cost is embedded in the general fund number.
Right.
So the 3.4% increase overall is entirely because of enrollment?
No,
Okay.
no. Enrollment increase is tied to the general fund. Okay.
Okay.
The
Where
others,
does the extra money come
the
more
extra money will be coming from the taxpayer.
from? Okay.
Okay. So as soon as we give our budget to the county, they will know how much.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
Because like the retirement actually comes out of the state retirement fund, right? Like county. Oh, it is county.
Yes.
Oh, okay. It's not county and then state, it's just county.
It's just county. So when you look at page 1 has a title here, tax levy fund. So everything in here, all those increases, with the exception of the general fund, where most of it comes from state entitlement, all the other increases will come from all of us in a form increase. Because most of them go to the county, and then the county then gives us money for transportation, retirement, tuition, and so on.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Even though we could, of course, argue that even the state entitlement money is our tax fund, right?
Mhm.
Then
That's what I
the
was
state
thinking.
gets it from us,
Yeah.
they repackage it. They call it, it's a state entitlement, give it back. So all of this will support it, our taxpayer dollars. Okay?
Lucy,
Yes,
probably really obvious, but not.
not, may not be.
The preliminary. How does it end up as a total elementary? Preliminary is 7 million compared to the 25, 26, 18 million.
I love that question. There must be a mistake in the formula. I apologize.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's up. Not
You know,
there.
Excellent. Thank you. You know, it looks like the first line, the 11.8 million for the general fund, what's that? Is not included in the overall foreign. Thank you, that is, thank you.
There was some.
That means that the grand total of 19.9 million is also approval. That should be over 30 million.
But you have to add 11.
You know, I cannot tell you how many times I looked at this.
You've been looking at it for so long, it's, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
funny,
You know, in your head
because,
what it is,
I think, yeah, it's,
Thank you, that is a great point. So yes, this will be, will have to be revised.
It is helpful knowing all the different funds.
yes, it
Thank
is.
you for doing it.
Yeah, I think so too, rather than seeing
Just the judge.
just the,
Lucy Tech, oh, sorry, I'll let you make.
go ahead.
Technology is a voted levy.
It's a voted levy.
Okay, so if we're expecting an increase, then is that, are we thinking we might need to run a levy or do we have funds for that?
We have funds for it.
Okay,
So this technology levy, it has a 10-year term.
okay,
1920 was the first year we used funds. So we have 10 years from, so we're in year 7 of 10 of the levy. So we don't have to, that's all accounted for and approved
okay, great.
by the taxpayers, 7 years ago.
Thank you.
Going back to the era, the grand total for both districts combined is 31,803,711 dollars. So 31,803,711 is the number. But the differences and the increase is correct. Those are calculated correct. Yes. So the 3.4% increase, that is a good number. So we have an opening in the business department, Rainy. Would you
Thank you.
not even on part-time basis?
Much work, holy cow.
Yeah.
But I do like your descriptions of fund purposes.
Yeah,
They're-
yeah.
Yeah.
That's very.
This is just a reminder for all of us and for those who may be online, who are new to the community, who are not familiar what the money is meant for. It's a nice description. It also shows us the legal origin of those funds, MCA. Okay. Moving on to the general fund, hopefully we have the math for people. Okay. Page 2, general fund only. On top of the page, I provide a 5-year look back into A and B, which stands for average number belonging, which is a number, it's a calculation based on enrollment. And it's the most important number that dictates our budget limits. So when we look at the elementary and middle schools, you can see that, again, no surprise to all of us here who have been checking enrollment monthly basis. Elementary and middle has been declining slightly as they move on to the high school. So here, in order to soften the blow of the enrollment decrease, the state allows us to use a 3-year average, as we know, including the current year. So for the elementary and middle, we will be using that 3-year average to come to the maximum budget number, whereas the high school, where the enrollment has been increasing, we will be using current year right now. What we're in right now, that's our 671. And that feeds into the elementary and high school budget. As you can see, the elementary budget has because of the decreasing enrollment, only a very slight increase of 1.4%. Whereas the high school budget increases by over $400,000, which we saw on page 1, and that equals 6.4%. Even though I don't, at this time, I don't have every single budget line item planned out, it's just not possible at this stage. We can assume that the personnel cost will be about 91% at elementary and about 87% at the high school. And everything else will be in that other category.
Yeah.
So right now, we've been talking to Dave and I've been talking to the building principals who provided us with what I call a shopping list of needs. And we'll do our best to accommodate as many of those needs in budget. Okay.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Because I know that K through 8 is usually elementary, right? So when you go elementary and you go middle, is middle just 7, 8? And elementary is K through?
For budget purposes, yes.
Okay, that's what I was just,
For budgeting purposes only, the formula is a little bit different for 7th and 8th
Okay.
than it is for K. That's fine. Yes.
Can we continually use the 3-year average, or like after so many years, or like you gotta go with your actual number?
You can continually use it if you're going lower and lower, yes.
That's
Interesting. So, for example, next year, I expect to use the 3-year average again. For element.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. So- Be proud of this.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
helpful.
super helpful.
Any other questions?
Is it ever possible if you do pass a big transportation levy to fold the activities buses out of the general fund into transportation, or they always have to be activities?
It's against the law.
Oh, okay.
Fund number 10, transportation is only
Always
for
for yellow
yellow
buses. Okay, good to know.
And that's why it's so hard, because the activity busing is not only very expensive, it's also very challenging to budget. And estimate and see who's gonna go to state and then on, and my almost always. Yeah, seriously, yes, no, you say, okay, these have been going to the state for the last 5 years, so I assume they will go again.
Right.
And then there are some very nice surprises where other activities go to state as well, so it's really fun.
You're in a hard place because you want to root for them, but.
Yeah.
but you take the train. My God.
And they did take train with golf.
Golf, yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
yes, so they do. It's a great message.
So when they use a yellow bus for an activity, is it just billed differently? Is there like a different code or something that then you get the invoice for? It's coded different?
Yes.
Okay.
So the transportation fund is not just what I call the yellow buses. It's only home to school and back home. That's the definition.
Yeah, it's to get kids to school and get them home again.
Extracurriculum that's a different ballgame regardless of what vehicle you choose to use.
And even like a field trip where like the kids went bowling, that's a different. That would be like an activity bus, even though they're taking a school bus. Okay.
Yes, yes, good question, yes.
Any other questions for Lucy?
Certainly clarified it.
I know, it's so helpful, but we still get confused every time. It's just so many numbers.
So what we'll do in summertime, we will pull up this preliminary sheet, page 1 from today, and we'll look at it and say, did we change it a lot or not? And why?
It's easy. Just out of curiosity,
Mhm.
when you first started, what do you think the total budget was? Now it's 31.8.
It's high because we have new debt, we have new construction.
So this is because, yeah, this seems exceptionally, yeah,
It was maybe it's 20 million.
yeah, I thought it was closer to 20, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Your job's grown a lot.
I was gonna say, we gave you.
And actually, I just have one other question or thought. So, because we have the overall total going up at 3.4%,
Mhm.
but we were giving what, 2.5 or 2.4 from the state. So would you automatically assume it's gonna go up by that much or no?
The increase from the state only goes to the general fund.
Okay. Not the other one. Okay,
It doesn't go to the others.
okay. Okay.
That's why it's often tied to salary.
Mhm.
All making sense, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lucy.
Mhm.
All right, moving right along. Oh, it's still Lucy's turn. We're gonna talk about 26-27 permissive levy.
And this is good because we just talked about the budget, so we all have this freshly in our minds. Rainy, please check my math again. You never know. Okay, permissive levies. So just a refresher, we have we have two kinds of levies. Voted levy, so it goes on the ballot, which we will not be doing this year. We have permissive levies, which are approved by the board. Okay, we don't need the community's approval of those levies. Several of those funds that we say are permissively levied are listed on that sheet. It's adult education, transportation, tuition, or what we call special education also, and building reserve. So those are permissively levied. It's up to your discretion to increase or decrease those levy funds. Based on my review, I propose an increase in the transportation and tuition fund levies by 8% each. The transportation fund, we already talked about the 8% increase. It's our expectation of the increase of the cost to the contractor. We think it's gonna be about 8%. And the tuition / special education permissive levy fund is also increased by 8% because those funds are very heavy in personnel costs. So I recommend we increase the funding in those funds also by 8% or $103,000 and $57,000 in elementary and high school respectively. In the elementary tuition fund, especially would like to increase that because of the corresponding, not a decrease, but the general fund is not getting as much of an increase. So the special education staff getting paid out of the general fund can now be allocated hopefully to the permissive levy. So that's my reasoning between those two increases if you were to approve those. On the right-hand side of the table, we'll see what the annual impact is on the taxpayer. In the 2025 legislation, there were some fairly big and hot discussion about new tax rates on residential properties, if you may remember. So, Flathead County no longer has 1.35% taxable value of the house taxable, it's now tiered. Okay, and the tax rates used in the calculation are explained down. Pretty much, it has a lot to do with what the state median value is, which is $378,000. Okay, up to that level, the percent, there's a certain percentage, and above that, it goes up to 1.9, 1.1 or 1.9% above that number. Okay. So using those numbers, the annual increase on the right-hand side, that's how the numbers came out. Just an interesting note, $378,000 is the statewide median value. Now, median doesn't mean average. Median really means most, okay, where most properties live. And then the Department of Revenue looked at all 56 counties and said, well, what is the actual market value in Flathead County, for example? And they found that it's $605,000. Yes. So, anyway, this is just an interesting, I looked at Gallatin County, where Bozeman is, their median is $690,000. So Flathead is close second. So, yes, so one attachment in the agenda item is the spreadsheet that we were looking at. The other attachment is the resolution that I will recommend you adopt. And the resolution as it appears here will also be published in the Whitefish pilot for law next week.
So is it fair to say that it's misleading, and one of the reasons why the legislature made us start breaking out taxable value by 100, 300, 600, but so you could try to figure out easier, I thought, like what your cost would be. But if your home is $1 million, that $100,000 value is not, you can't really take that by 10 anymore because it's
Not anymore.
okay, so it's really kind of a moot point. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
really just, it's misleading in a way.
It is
I
misleading.
mean, it's not our misleading,
Yes.
but that's something that's not really.
You're right. We no longer can say, well, if you have $1 million home, you just take that number times 10. That is no longer. Yes.
Okay, right, because you're gonna be above the.
You're gonna be the 1.9.
You're gonna be the 1.9%. Okay, interesting, thank you. And then I just wanted to clarify, the tuition levy is when we send kids out of district. Right, so when we get income in from kids who are coming into our district from out of district, where's that money going?
Great question. Because logically, you would think, well, if the money goes out of the tuition fund, it should also come back to the tuition fund, but the answer is no. It comes back to the general fund. So if Kalispell pays us for kids coming here, $50,000, let's say, that revenue is deposited in the general fund, and it decreases the taxpayer's obligation in that fund. However, if we pay money out of the tuition fund and we increase our tax obligation in the tuition fund, that the offset doesn't go back into the same fund, and at the end of the day, maybe $1.50 annually is saved for each taxpayer.
It's a headache.
It's a lot of headache for what I just said. The impact on people is very minimal, considering all the work that goes in. And, you know, Dave Fern and Dave and I talked about it. And Dave Fern asked me, well, what do you think? How could it be maybe easy? I don't, and I said, I don't know, or AI. There's a lot of just entry and just paperwork and things.
Well, if you are a district that doesn't have a Lucy, that would be very
Or
slippery.
Amy,
Yeah, a Lucy.
you know,
Yeah, we have-
Amy has, actually, she has more work with the out of district students than I do. I just look at her summary and say, okay, this times that number, okay, that's the number. She actually has more work. That's the thing. We're looking into ways how to spend money. AI or something.
Are there any other clarifying questions for Lucy? Any public comment on this item? All right, back to the board for,
Oh, sweet.
I know they are,
I know,
sorry.
right?
No,
Any other-
Rainy's not.
No, it's fine. Back to the board for further discussion. None, how about a motion?
I move we accept the resolution of intent to impose an increase or a decrease in levies. I'll second that.
Moved by Jerry, seconded by Rainey, all in favor?
Thank
That is
you.
everybody, thank you guys, thank you very much, Lucy, that's so helpful and so informative. The rest is. It's. Okay, all right. Moving on to a donation for orchestra, Lucy,
Oh,
man,
yes.
you are on tonight.
Yeah, I thought it was. Oh. Back on in. Presented for your consideration is a donation check, in the amount of $8,191. This money has been earmarked for the trip to the orchestra trip to New York City. And, they raised money through 99 pledges, which is on that fundraising platform online. Great.
Are there any clarifying
Yeah,
questions?
so we've seen money come in from 99 pledges, I'm assuming for the same thing before, is this the first one for orchestra? I'm
I
pretty
think
sure
this is the second for orchestra.
Do you know the total? Just curious, it's okay, okay,
I do not know.
fair enough.
Any other clarifying question? Any other comment? Back to the board for further discussion. Yep. Motion?
I move we accept as presented.
Moved by Katie, seconded by Quincy, all in favor?
Thank you.
That is everybody, thank you guys, thank you, and great work, orchestra, that's awesome. All right, Dave, it looks like we might let you say something.
Okay.
Personal recommendations for hire.
Sure. All right, and for your consideration, we do have recommendations for hire. I do want to point out, we had one candidate withdraw from the application process since this recommendation for hire put on the agenda. That candidate is Richard Peterson. So the rest of the candidates are up for your consideration this evening. One for food service, speech language pathologist, and the WHS tennis head coach.
Are there any clarifying questions? Public comment? Back to the board for further discussion, seeing none, a motion?
Can I just ask a question, I guess, sorry? Should I just like, whether that's,
No, you're fine.
what is a 0.2 FTE? What does that do? I have a point.
Okay.
Oh, thanks. I was like, what is that? That's what I was wondering.
There you go.
Is that even?
Good question. Dave, and now, I noticed there were 8 candidates for that position, but do we go back to the other 7? And
It's a good question. We need to analyze that and look at the process. I believe we can go back to that full, but we're
I'm
gonna
assuming
look at
there's
it.
some of them, that were- okay, thank you.
I move we accept the candidates that have been, the 3 that are presented for hire.
Moved by Jared, seconded by Rainey, all in favor? Everybody, yay, thanks, good work hiring committees. That is great. Okay, next on the agenda is a teacher leave of absence request. And so due to, as a presiding officer of the school board, I'm gonna call this meeting into executive session for the purposes of individual privacy for this next section. We will also pause the video stream and come back on maybe 10 or 20 minutes. I don't know, just stay by your computers and wait. I don't know timing wise, sorry, if anybody who's online. But, yeah. So, we'll be back.
Yeah.
Thank you all for stepping out. I now call this open session back into order. And with that, I would take a motion on item G.
I move we approve as presented.
Exactly. Moved by Katie, seconded by Quincy, all in favor? That is everybody. Thank you very much. And thanks to everybody online for your patience. And to everyone here in person. Appreciate it. All right, moving right along to report. First off, we have administrator announcements. Do we have anybody willing to take the stage tonight? Oh, good, Lisa's up here. That's exciting.
I'm up. Greetings from the curriculum department. Lucy, you wear the crown tonight.
I don't know yet. Let's see your presentation.
Yeah, all day long, every day we've been. Two quick announcements I wanted to share with you. One is regarding teachers. Montana has a program called the Natural History Day in Montana and the Montana 250 Commission. We're looking for 15 Montana teachers in grades 6 to 12 to join a cohort of teachers for a year beginning in April. They would attend all expense paid workshops in April, August, and October. They would participate in ongoing virtual trainings and they'd earn $1,000 stipend and $500 in classroom materials. And I am pleased to say we have not one, but 2 teachers from Whitefish. They are 2 of our newer teachers to the school district. Stephanie Matheson from Whitefish High School will join this cohort and Peregrine Frizzell from Whitefish Middle School. So super exciting. So it's great to see new teachers do new things. Super excited about that. I will also just share Stephanie also took a group of students to Academic World Quest at the University of Montana with Sarah Crum a couple weeks ago. So we're just tapping those new people right now. Super excited. The other quick announcement I want to share is Kelly and Josh and I just returned from a Teacher Clarity Conference in San Diego. Very, very worthwhile conference. We learned, I'm going to take it. I copied Josh's slide because it was such a great summary. Learning depends on more than just curriculum, resources, or programs. Depends on clarity, which is a shared understanding among teachers, leaders, and students. That shared understanding includes what is being learned, why it matters, and how success will be recognized. It is a mindset and a framework that transforms the way educators think, plan, and talk about learning. And when clarity is alive in every classroom, teaching becomes intentional and learning becomes visible. You will hear a lot more about that. The administrators need to get together and discuss how we're going to continue to roll this out in the district. I think we will be developing a comprehensive plan. Kelly or Josh, did you want to add anything to that? And we had a really good time. The weather was nice, we saw the sun. We successfully
Plan, but I guess I'll take it this time around.
We successfully mastered mass transportation, didn't get lost.
You were in San Diego, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Can I ask a question about the history day?
Yes.
So what are they learning or what's the outcome of them going to these trainings and what are we hoping for?
Let's see. They are going to learn the ins and outs They're gonna serve as a judge for the Montana State Natural History Day. They're gonna learn the ins and outs of being a judge. They'll learn how to introduce their students to historical thinking, research, and argumentation. Let's see. They'll have research projects that they're going to work on with their students. All in the name of Montana history. Yeah, I think it's great.
National or natural?
Yeah.
National History Day in Montana.
Okay, national, okay.
Can I ask a question?
You bet.
About the conference. So I think anytime you're in education, there's a new initiative, we're talking about the rollout, you're like, oh my God.
Yep.
But Josh said something interesting to me, just in passing, and I was like, what was it? He was like, it's not something new.
That's true.
Can you expound on this?
Yeah.
One of the speakers said it's not another thing on your plate.
Yeah.
Is the plate that holds everything.
Right.
Mhm.
So
Clarity.
it brings clarity to teacher clarity.
So it's what you're already doing.
Yes.
Okay, that really helps.
You know, I was talking to Dave about this, and I said it's like in education, holding up a pair of binoculars and sharpening the scope so that it really comes into vision and it's very clear. So that's what we want to do with student learning. It's essentially being very specific about what you're teaching, and kids know exactly what they're learning and they know what they need to do to show that they have learned it.
Got it.
And
One of the speakers listened to said that they wish they named the conference student clarity rather than teacher clarity. Because at the end of it, it's all about making sure that the students understand why it's important what they're learning and how that's going to look. And I really liked when they talked about that. They said, I like that too as an educator. Yeah. So it's like, not one more thing for me.
Right.
No, that's the first thing you hear when you hear a new initiative. It's like, okay, how
Yeah.
much time?
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, but not a new initiative at all.
Okay.
And I wanted to speak to Barry a little bit because I know you've been concerned about lesson plans. This really takes care of that issue. Because teachers have to know exactly what it is that they're doing in order for there to be clarity for the students, which is great. And when Josh and Kelly left, I stayed for 2 additional days to get to, they had what was called the certification course. And during that certification course, I was able to actually visit a school that was using it in action. And it was really, they actually had everything posted. It was really neat to see where the kids knew exactly what they were doing in those classes. And teachers knew exactly what they were doing. There was no, there wasn't any wasting of time because they were very efficient. If kids already knew it, they didn't learn it again. They zeroed in on what it was that the kids needed to learn.
Student clarity, I like it.
Yeah.
We're doing
Student clarity. Student clarity.
Yeah.
Make a decision for it's not even in our job.
It's not in our, but I think.
And the neat thing was all the teachers modeled it in everything else that they were doing. They modeled that same format.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. So worthwhile trip?
Very worthwhile.
Yeah.
Wait,
Okay.
you say?
Good. Good.
Touch on one thing.
Yeah.
Did they touch on the, when students know what to expect, reduction kind of anxiety?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's much more engaging for students.
It's engaging.
But-
Well, that helps teachers too.
Yeah. But don't they also know how they're going to be assessed and what will be assessed?
Yeah.
So that's also something to lessen
Mhm.
their anxiety.
It was plan backwards, teach forward.
And there was a lot of the students assessing themselves too.
Yes.
You know, they knew where they were at in their learning progression.
Well,
So
this
they
is
weren't
going back
surprised.
to Stiggins and Wiggins that we had in the district.
Right, and again, and I have a slide
I know.
later on when we do a much deeper share with you, I have a slide that it will show you that, yeah, this has been around for a long
Oh, yeah.
time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
bet.
Thank you guys for going. Thank you for going. Great. Well, Lynn.
Well, I'm going to San Diego.
Yeah, right. It's like send you to Chicago in February. Yes, thank you. I know it's hard to leave your building, but you know, that's awesome. Any trustee announcement? Got anything? I had something, but I thought, I wasn't sure if Lucy was gonna hit on it in her report, so if you are, then we don't have to talk about it, but I did see on our MTSBA emails that the health insurance trust was approved.
Yes,
So I thought,
validate.
or validated, sorry.
Validated.
So that's exciting, but.
We knew about a month ago that they have met, the numbers. A minimum of 12,000 lives insured and at least 150 districts. And I know they exceeded those numbers. So we knew that they were going to the state to validate, and it just happened. So thank you for bringing that up. No?
Yeah. So
Yes,
exciting.
yes.
I think it's been a long, hard fought battle for education and the districts, and I'm so glad 150 districts to me seems really overwhelming, and I'm worried about it, but super happy it happened, so thank you. Any other trustee? Yeah. All right, Dave.
See, I click on the WSD calendar because I know we have some exciting things happening this week for some of our activities, which
No, gotta go to the other.
video, sorry.
Okay.
The VHS calendar does for sure. Right, so we got state 8 basketball tournament. Yeah, Great Falls. Excited for our girls to be headed to Great Falls this week, starting Thursday. And then, of course, you can see some things coming up about All State Jazz Festival. And then we're getting into spring sports. Week. So moving on quickly. Yeah. All right, so back to agenda. I wanted to make sure I also shared some information about the surveys. I think we've just talked about this, but the timing we're still on track to have after spring break. We'll do the school climate surveys. Those are just getting finalized. I've seen drafts of those. Really, essentially the PBIS school surveys. And then we have the communication surveys scheduled with Darlene Chattel. That would be near the end of April. So states look like we're still tracking for those dates coming up. And then enrollment, you can see attached is the enrollment. See some fluctuations there. Some interesting changes this time a little bit where you can see some withdrawn to parts of Flathead Valley, but also southern US and northwest Montana, and then also people coming in from the valley and eastern US re-enrollment. So with some fluctuations. And let's see, we have resignations there for you and retirements as well. Question.
Okay, so Quincy and I were noticing that our April work session is survey results review, but we won't have those for that work session.
Yeah, a lot of the guide, this calendar is just a guide.
Yes, it's
of
just a
course.
guide.
So yeah,
So then we were like, oh.
We're all tired. And in fact, we have a work session next week, kind of snuck up on us because it got bumped up a week early because of spring break, so we were just curious.
We were wondering if the March one could be the April one, and we could have one less for the session.
oh, next week.
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, the special board meeting.
We gotta have that. Okay.
We have to.
We certainly, we could do that, I think. We were gonna do winter assessment data, March one next week.
But we could do that in April,
We could,
potentially,
potentially, yeah.
since we won't have survey results to review.
But it might-
Doing.
That's an interesting idea. Of course,
Just a thought.
with the board, if you're interested, we could consider not having a work session, but I
Just do
think
a
we still. need
special-
to
we
discuss
still
it.
need to special meeting.
But that'll be like, that'll take 5 minutes.
And maybe we have a contract to.
I mean, I realize we really need to
Might have
be,
some recommendations for higher
Right,
end.
yeah,
and
yes.
Another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just something to consider, maybe if you wanna consider it, you don't have to decide right now.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, talk to
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Yeah, talk to
Yeah,
Elizabeth, but yeah,
I'll
you
talk
guys
to
can look
Elizabeth.
at your agenda, but it seems like an opportunity.
Yeah.
Well,
We know we also did it in February, but.
You're saying look for opportunities.
You-
Yeah. Give an opportunity, you're looking for opportunities. We're doing flexibility, adaptability, and opportunities
Bit number three.
with our governor's calendar.
Okay.
Can I just ask a general question about enrollment, because it's come up a couple times, and it came up when we were doing our interviews and such, just about, and even just talking about ABs. Since I've been on the board, the declining enrollment is new to me, as a, thing to contemplate. What is the plan, like, what does one do when you have a particular age group, especially where enrollment is declining? You just kind of watch your numbers, or is there something you do to reach out to the community to encourage enrollment, or what does that look like?
Well,
Or you just, it just is what it is, like, I honestly just don't know the answer.
we've been watching these trends closely over the past years.
Yeah.
Of course, and so I think what we're seeing is there may be a trend of declining, well, maybe those early grades K through 4, but not necessarily in middle school, high school. So what we're seeing a trend, or we have seen over the past about 12 years now, an increasing trend in middle school and high school, people moving into the middle. So it's hard to make the general statement. Elementary is declining necessarily. I think maybe the very younger ages possibly. We're seeing increases to those high school levels. People move on. But will that continue or not? Yeah, that's the key. And like you
Yeah.
said, do you just continue on? I think that's the thing to do. Really continue to monitor it, watch that trend line, see what's happening. It's so hard to predict.
I'm just thinking back to the AMPs that she posted and how we use the average of the last 3 for both elementary and for middle school. So to me, that also indicates, even though yes, more people are moving into the valley, or we have more students enrolling, I should say, at some days, because I think the students might be here, they just might be at other homeschool programs up until a certain point, or private schools, and then filter in as well as people moving in.
In addition, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just curious, if there's not, how do we compete with that? I guess for those K through 4 age groups, I don't know.
Provide their product.
Yeah, but how do we let them know about our better product?
But I think one of the things we
You know what I mean?
also have to consider is how many of these people are living in apartments or rentals that they can no longer afford? And we've always had this problem of people moving from district to district, trying to find cheaper rent. And we really don't know, because we don't know why they're moving specifically. But I do think that the higher, prices here does make a difference and makes people move out because they can't afford it.
And I think that what's interesting to me, again, this is just, I'm not integrated into the system as much, but I do realize that in the last couple of years, the legislature passed the tuition, like that you can move now differently. So yes, I think before that maybe would have been, 10 years ago, I thought, and it's accurate, that it's harder to live here when you have a 6, 7, 8-year-old in theory, with depending on your income, et cetera, and where you are in your life at that point, than it was 10 years ago. But if you do live in another school in the valley, or you do, just wondering, they could still come here in theory.
Yeah, but
Well,
you
but
have to drive.
It's
yeah.
affording the gas to drive
Yeah.
and depends on your income.
Absolutely.
And
I'm
if they
just
get
curious.
into high school, they can.
Well, that's what I
So-
was,
Yeah.
but then I was curious too, like, what happens if you do? Anyways, I'm just thinking,
Well, I think you bring up some good
Yeah,
points. I
just
think it
thinking.
is all about monitoring. We've been monitoring closely, and I continue to do that. And watch the fluctuations, both at the elementary and high school levels, and then compartmentalize it, middle school 7, 8, and high school, look at those trends. I think that's gonna be really helpful. In addition to something we've added, we've been adding the number of
yeah,
out
that
of
was, yeah,
districts. That's a monitoring tool too, based on some of the things you're talking about.
Yeah.
How does that look? Is that continuing, or is that trending in a different direction, or is it going up? there's some things to watch too.
Well, I know when we talk about the open enrollment. Like, finding a niche or a different. Way to, distinguish yourself, so like we have the AP diploma, right, but that's really like a high school.
Right,
So what can we do, I know what you're saying, you're like thinking marketing wise, what can you do as in elementary to be like, we're really strong, our reading program. Our students know exactly what's happening because we have student clarity.
Yeah.
That's good. So I think that's what you're saying, is how are we marketing, or can we market in a way that's not. I mean, at the same time, you gotta be careful when you get to that
Totally,
district in, because some years they might not be taken back just based on
Well, that's
local numbers, so it's kind of a tricky.
or even just capturing kids who are, that, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I
doing
mean-
other things.
I think to me, it's really easy to market, in terms of the sense of, we have some of the highest achievement in the state.
Right.
I think we have the best educators in the state.
Yeah.
I think we have the best district in the state.
Absolutely.
And I think we need to share that.
Yeah.
Talk about those accomplishments that we're seeing on a regular basis. And then in high school, I think you can really capture a lot of the wonderful things that are happening there. In addition to being ranked nationally and all those kind of things, but also the addition of some of our career technical education courses that we're doing. I think that's something to really talk a lot about, because I think that is exciting and engaging for students too.
Yeah.
I think there's some real opportunity there, but yeah, there's a lot to celebrate.
For sure, that's what
Yeah.
I totally agree with all that, that's why I
Yeah.
was like, but how do we sing it from the mountaintop?
Yeah.
For K-4, I think it's just easier to do that, like you said.
Yeah,
It's just,
easier to-
it's more, yeah.
High visibility.
High-
they're out playing sports.
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't know if there was a secret sauce that I just didn't.
Any other questions? One thing I forgot to mention, so I'm sorry, I'm gonna kind of go back one, but I wanted to send a shout out to Chad and the entire maintenance staff, when we had those candidates in, every one of them commented on our buildings and how well they're upkept and how nice they look, and I'm sorry I missed that because I wanted to acknowledge that entire maintenance facility and crew and how hard they work, and the janitorial staff, and really keeping the buildings in tip-top shape. So thank you also to all of them. All right, Lucy.
Financial reports. So back to the annual audit. The audit is still ongoing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it always stays.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it tweeted.
When did they start?
I don't know exactly when it started. They always give me a list of items that I need to submit, and that list is maybe 200 or 250 items.
Oh, gosh.
And I did it back in the fall. So I can't tell you exactly what
Like how
they're
much
doing
time?
internally, I don't know. I'd say from, having been auditor in my prior life, an audit such as this is maybe 120 to 150 hours of labor. And that was, 10 years ago or more when I worked with constantly increasing requirements for audit and compliance. That number may be high. But just on February 25th, which is 2 weeks ago, one of the auditors was here on site in the business office, and she audited our internal controls or systems over financial report. Okay. So she calls me and says, okay, I'll be there till I'll just look at internal controls, and I'm thinking, so great, she'll be gone in 2 hours. She spent the entire day here, 8 hours. She didn't even take lunch.
Oh, gosh.
And I have to give kudos to Carly Watkins and Katie McKay at the district office, who spent 7 out of those 8 hours with her. And I'm happy to report that an internal control part of the audit went very well. So that's the internal controls. Because the theory is, if you have internal controls over your processes, then you can assume that the risk of fraud is lower. So I think we passed it with flying colors. However, that's only a very, very small piece of the audit. The auditors are looking at all sections of the financial statements. That means cash, liabilities, receivables, payables, capital assets, revenues, expenditures, bond issuance, and budget. Budget is also a very small part of this whole thing. The deadline for the audit to be completed and submitted to the state is March 31st. So I'll give you an update in April about the results. So that's the audit. Financial report, the number, does anybody have any questions about the financial report? Luke has mentioned that our spending for the construction is over 2 million. It's 2.4 million to be exact as of the last day of February. And that represents only 5% of the funds, of the total funds. Grant spending is going well. The general fund spending is right where it should be for this time of the year. Any questions for Lucy?
As usual, she has her wonderful graphs.
You know, that's exciting to see the high school one starting to turn a little yellow.
Yeah.
But then I was like,
Yes, you know,
it's kind of mixed feelings, because I was like, oh, I like that we had all this. Especially the savings account. I know it's really not. I know we have to spend it, but it's like.
I love that McKinney Bento on page
Yeah.
6, we spent the first $57. 10,000, so we're on our way. And good news, that grant, the new application cycle has been open for 26-27. So I'll just delegate it to Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
She's great with applications, grant applications. Yeah.
Anything else? All right, moving right on to the consent agenda. Is there any public comment on the consent agenda? Doing y'all just want to get paid, so let's do it. Motion on the consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Moved by Jerry, seconded by Katie, all in favor? Thank you, and one last motion. Move by Jerry. Second. Moved by Katie, seconded by Lucy, all in favor? Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here.